What's up, Stop Sinking family? I want to tell you, if you're not lifting a burden, you're probably adding to it. Let's have a real conversation. What do you bring to the table? This is a conversation about value added. What value do you add with your existence? What do you do for yourself? Your overall goals, to serve your overall potential? Would how you're living be considered paying respect to all that you have been given? All that came before you to have the level of privilege that you have today? Would you consider yourself lifting all the possible weights as to forge yourself into the best possible specimen you can become? Honestly, are you even lifting 50% of that weight? How do you add value to your family? How do you diversify their thoughts, their perspectives, their ideas? What physical contribution? Is your family able to rely on you? Do they trust you to represent them? Can they trust your discernment, your decision making, your ability to prioritize, your ability to decipher fact from fiction? Can they count on your honesty to serve as a basis for true problem solving and peace? What do you mean to your friends? Are you a friend or a fan? Are your friends better because of you? Are they at least not worse because of you? Do they feel challenged, cared for, honored, and protected with you as an addition to their life? Does having you in their life add or subtract to the trajectory of their ambitions? Are you derailing or supporting their growth? What do you mean to your community? And this doesn't have to mean in some grandiose way. Let's think of all the small ways possible. When's the last time you picked up garbage that wasn't yours? Mowed or cleaned your neighbor's lawn? Shoveled their snow? When's the last time you voiced an unpopular opinion in your locale, in your workplace, for your team? Chill out, social justice warriors. I know this hits the checkbox for you. But when's the last time you stood up for something, saying something that was left unsaid by others? Doing the difficult work, knowing it will benefit the overall. Do you love your neighbor? Can they feel that love? Are they blessed? Can you truly say, are they blessed to have you next door to them? Are you considerate? Are you kind and willing to lend them a helping hand? If you see them working on their car, do you go over and ask if everything's okay? Are you reliable enough to be given their keys, asked to watch their pets, water their plants? And how and what do you mean, and how are you reaching the broader landscapes of society? Assuming your own house is in order is in the process of being put in order, are there aspirational anchors to impact society for you? Real problems that you're trying to solve? What is the 20-year meaningful goal for your existence? What value do you add with your existence? Do you care to leave the world behind in a better way in any way? What is that specific calling for you? Can you do something about it today? Even if that means building the smallest fraction of the character trait that 20-year-old later self can lean on. That is the true foundation of this pondering. What is the alternative to someone who is not able to do at least these things for themselves, their family, and beyond? Are they lifting a burden? Are they adding to it? Where would that ultimate tally weigh? Which side would that balance beam lean? Taken more, left more behind? See, aspirationally, at least, In my actions, I try to live a net zero existence. I try to minimize my footprint on my personal environment. That means I try to, at least for one, be like I wasn't even there. Whether that's me leaving a hotel, me leaving my personal desk, me leaving someone's house, I try to be like I wasn't even there. And then ultimately, I try to have enough reserves that I contribute back to the grid. This abundance mentality where I always feel like I have enough and my cup is always full and ready to pour. I'm never looking to take more from the environment that I'm able to give back to it. It just takes a mental shift to do your part and not consuming more than you make. Contributing more than you take. You just have to make a conscious choice. The other side is very easy. It's unfulfilling, but it's very easy. It's like an attempt to fill a black hole when you take all that you can take because it is there for the taking. You will forever owe a debt to that taking. Unless you transform or become something from all that taking that ultimately leaves behind more than it ever took, you will be forever in debt to that taking. Or else you are disrupting the balance of nature and it will autocorrect. This is binary. You are either lifting a weight or leaving it heavier on someone else. Even if that someone else is you in the future, you are leaving it heavier for someone else to carry. There is no gray area here. There's no room for debate. So what is your value added to the world? What do you see undone that you notice and are not doing something about? If you are paying attention, you will notice there is a lot of value left to be harnessed. What would happen if you took responsibility for it? And sure, things that are left undone are difficult, they're scary, they're risky, and probably have some good reason for why they are left in this untouched state. But that's also probably means that they are of somewhat importance. And if you notice that there is a problem, what makes you think that it is not your problem to solve? Why do you notice this issue, this problem, not something else? Often, what stands out to us is what's calling us to action by merely showing its face. There's plenty we are left blind to. So why do we see this one? Oftentimes, I feel crushed by the weight, just in thought alone, with the problems and the issues that I notice and the ones that I'm called to live my whole life for. And I find myself asking this exact question to myself. Because if I'm not lifting this burden, if I don't take on this assignment that I so uniquely notice, then I'm leaving more of that weight left, more of that burden left for the future. I'm leaving the opportunity, the challenge, the prey alive for another day, for myself or for someone else, leaving the problem alive. So in just the noticing, I am assigned a responsibility. One, of course, that I have a choice not to take at my own peril, but I am assigned a responsibility. It becomes an assignment of the soul to measure the acceptance that this is my responsibility, and to measure how it shows up in my actions. Always asking, lifting or adding? Acting or just acting? What value do you add to your relationships? Your goal in any relationship that you build on should be to help someone else breathe easier, to over time build and carry more of that foundational weight upon yourself. So you both combined can build a structure not possible by the individual alone. Any failure to do so results in a weakened basis for all future growth for both of you individuals involved. You weaken the union. If you are present enough to have meaningful relationships, you will recognize that you have some role to play. You fit into the dynamic and play your part somehow. And if you truly care for the person that you're in a relationship with, you take some form of responsibility for the betterment of your friendship, for what ultimately you both do for the world. That might be as simple as telling your friend that he has something in his teeth, or more serious things like pointing out red flags in behaviors. You play some part in helping each other reach accomplishments. You play some part in the transformation of each other. What are you leaving unlifted? What value do you add to your own life? Just take a look around you right now. I guarantee I can identify at least 3 to 5 action items that you've deemed low priority that would probably vastly change your experience simply by not having to think about them every day. If you just saw them done, moved, cleaned, or sorted out, just the removal of the daily nudging of these left undone could be the exact amount of weight you should carry right now. Just start with these and see what is waiting to be carried behind them. Who knows what they're hiding? What value are you adding to your own life? What have you let die inside? What voices have you buried? What sounds have you muffled? What visions have you blurred? Have you ever stopped and wondered what the cost of this is? What have you foregone and thought of as far gone? What has been shelved, archived, and dust-ridden? What potential magic died with it? How has that impacted you? What additional choices, options, or opportunities would you have had these remained alive? Has it strengthened or weakened you to let these die? And what is the smallest way to bring any of that back to life? What are you willing and able to carry today and lift today to breathe life back into these ghosts? What value do you add to your life? What value are you adding to your business, your workplace? Usually, the business grows to the limit of its operators. Any deficiency, shortcoming, or limitation, perceived or real, of the leaders will show up in the business. And that's unique to everyone. It shows up at different stages for different people depending on their particular lack. Point being, the answers will be found where you least want to look. In the weaknesses. Under what seems like the heaviest rock to lift. Personally, I'm great at sustaining effort, having consistent effort, and keeping something going and scaling it. I'm the type to get stuck at the stage of starting something. My analysis paralysis, combined with knowing that I'm so consistent and how that consistency has burnt me out in the future, and giving everything my all and losing years of my life trying to do something tirelessly, it keeps me from starting. This is my deficiency. And to free myself from it, I have to start and try a lot of things so I remove this attachment to the thing that I just started and learn when to cut my losses and say it's okay to leave, it's okay to quit. Other people have the exact opposite problem. They can start new things all the time, become this thing one month, become something else another month. Their problem is seeing it through the end, or at least until to a fair point where they have an accurate opinion. They have the exact opposite problem that I have. So in a candid conversation with yourself, one, not gripped by the shields of your ego, ask yourself what else you can do. See if there is an obvious opportunity calling out to you. One that asks you to be more than who you are today. One that asks you to place yourself in temporary discomfort for possible permanent betterment of your broader environment. Choose to lift. Aim to lift. What would the world be like if we were all willing to take a weight off of each other? Take ownership of the current weight not carried. How much higher could we go? I love you all.